welcome to another season of the DewatchPod podcast. I am Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jane with a G, and this is going to be the first episode we're recording while both of us are suffering from blood loss.
Well, I think I'm recovered, actually.
I think I'm pretty recovered too. Honestly, the needle, I can barely see the needle marks.
That's right. Jim had a visit with the vampire this morning.
And Jorgen had a visit with a tiger 2 days ago.
That's right. And despite these adversities, we come to you and we present you another season of the DewatchPod podcast. What have we watched, Jim?
We have watched the star Orville. Orville, season
the
3.
Orville. It is the is a part of the title, I think.
We've decided. Season 3, episode something called Domino.
Yeah, episode 9, I believe.
There you go. You said it was the penultimate one, and using some stellar detective logic, 9 seems like a reasonable guess.
Yeah.
We are well prepared. We have stuff to come at you. It is unclear if this is a true intermission season or not, but we're doing it anyway because it's interesting, and I'm coming in here with joy having watched this episode.
Yeah, no, I was genuinely considering putting this just as a regular Star Trek season, and I think Jim is more aware than ever of why I was considering that.
Yes, more in some ways and less in other ways, to be entirely honest, given recent Star Trek seasons we watched. But nonetheless, we are here. We are trying to think of a Star Trek rhyme that rhymes with queer, and I cannot think of it. So,
well, there is an interesting detail to this thing, which is that we were almost at this point a few months ago, actually, with our recording schedule, because this season started airing I want to say on the scale of weeks before Star Trek Discovery.
Really?
So it was up for consideration as our next season until I figured out the exact details and figured out whether I wanted to watch Discovery or not. A decision that I'm still unsure if I made the right call.
We're trying to leave the trauma behind.
But yeah, no, this is exactly contemporaneous with Discovery starting. But not contemporaneous with Discovery ending, because they're probably making another season. But if they're not, it ended probably... No, it might have actually ended at the same time too. If they're not managing the new season. Now the thing about the Orville is that it is a comedy an adaptation of Star Trek that stopped wanting to do comedy.
It is also not officially an adaptation of Star Trek. It is serial numbers filed off.
But not.
It's not hiding it.
They didn't put their back into it.
Yeah, I don't think it's trying.
You can be what's that course spot in the place where a serial number should be?
Yeah. Nonetheless, shall we delve into whether or not we recommend this episode?
Well, should we do your guess first, Jim?
Oh, I forget. So we're reintroducing me guessing whether this is the highest or lowest rated episode of the season.
That's right.
With a slight addendum.
Yeah, because after Lower Decks primarily, but also Strange New Worlds to an extent, I've given myself extensive veto powers to stop us from watching every season finale.
Yeah, it turns out season finales bring together a lot of story points that we do not watch as part of the gimmick that we are doing on this podcast. Nonetheless,
yeah, do you think this is the highly or the lowly rated episode for this season?
It's really hard to try to calibrate this in comparison to the other Star Trek shows. I am leaning towards the highest. It's the penultimate episode. It's very high concept. It has some sappy shit going on. It has a moral dilemma. I did have a moment, and we'll probably get to it when they're doing a little Ed Sheeran moment in before the second act, that I was like, no, this must be the lowest rated episode. But I think the rest of it does outweigh it, not in my mind, but in what I suspect people will like. And then I'll have to calibrate when we watch the next episode.
Yeah, your views have been noted, and revelations will occur in a week.
Yeah, woo. Cool.
That's it. Do we recommend watching this episode?
I don't know. I leaning towards a no.
I would say don't necessarily start with it. It probably hits different if you know these characters.
To an extent. I mean, I have my criticisms. We'll move into it. I had fun watching this episode.
Yeah,
I will
it
be
is
fully honest.
fun, but it's a weird start for sure.
I like one thing I will flag immediately is that this is one of those episodes that made us talk a lot during watching it, which we usually try to avoid. But there is a lot of fruit to grab at.
Yeah.
That was descending from above. Quite low, one might say. Nonetheless, before we get into the full discussion, shall we move on?
Yeah, no, like I'm giving like a tentative yes with the
Okay.
asterisk of like don't put it first.
I think that's fair.
Um,
Shall we
but
do some warnings?
indeed, now if you do decide to follow my tentative advice and watch this episode, or now or later, you do want content warnings for such things as violence
Mass death.
and genocide.
Very straight shooter this episode. No Black Mirror weaving off into all directions on this one. Where do we start, dear Jorgen, on our trip into the Orville?
We start with with an unlikely alliance that we two have like no context for. It is between the Mocklans and the Krill.
Yeah.
And this doesn't matter for like the next half hour of the episode. It is like
curious.
1 hour, almost 20 minutes. So they are like indulging a little bit for going for like something that is like movie scope and scale.
Yeah.
And the next thing that happens is that our intrepid crew of the Orville, I believe,
Yeah.
is getting swarmed together with a bunch of other Union starships, not Federation, by a bunch of, what were they?
Kaelons.
Kaelons, which are the Borg.
Yeah.
But they're fully robotic.
And they're much cuter than the Borg, it must be said. They are sheer faceplate with little cute eyes on.
But they have an ace up their sleeve, which is the device, which is what they're calling, like, an EMP that kills all the Kaelons and leaves them completely unharmed.
Only the evil Kaelons, because we have a good Kaelon on
Oh,
board
yeah.
the Orville.
Isaac.
Yeah. I want to know what he's named after, because I have my suspicion on that one.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a fairly straightforward.
But yeah, they fucking blast like 100-something Kaelon ships and then go, wow,
That was crazy.
the bomb. It made me sad to bomb the shit out of these people. They just have contemplative music as per the subtitles.
They have, like, oopsie, an Oppenheimer moment.
And then they go back and then they're presenting this to the admirals of the Union.
Yep.
And Ted Dance is there.
Ted Danson, you
Danson,
said earlier.
Whatever.
You knew him.
I know him
I
from The
didn't
Good
know
Place. I think.
And then you forgot his name in the time between saying his name off the dome and now.
I'm not 100% convinced that I'm
No,
I'm
it
right.
sounds right.
I think it sounds right too. But yeah, there are 2 Ted Dansons there and 1 Lady Admiral.
Yeah, who does not get many lines. But then again, none of them do.
They're
In a very
basically-
brief interaction, they're like, well, we're gonna need you to, like, make the nuke bigger in case we want to use it.
We want to kill all of them this time, and then they go, sounds bad, and they go, does it though?
We'll work it out
Yeah.
in a meeting
Well-
that you will not be part of.
We'll do the ethics off screen, which is
Yeah.
a fascinating approach in some way.
Yeah, no, like, we'll lay out the stakes and then, like, do the discussion elsewhere that you will not be privy to.
So we have 2 of the engineers. Like, we have Isaac, who's like a renegade Kaelon, and we have Charlie Burke, who's like, I wish we could kill all the Kaelons.
Yeah, no,
There.
she's got, like, young Republican energy.
I'm gonna get back to that at some point. But yeah, both of them are the ones who are basically made this super
Yeah.
EMP nuke.
And they're the only ones who know how to use it. And the admirals return from, like, I guess, like, Parliament or something. We don't know who, like, is making this decision.
As far as I'm concerned, this is currently a junta of some description, so
Well, no, they talk about the greatness of democracy.
Yeah.
So clearly there must be a democracy. That's how that works.
Yep.
And they're like, all right, so it was very contentious, but we decided not to do like turbo space genocide, and instead just like threaten genocide in case they don't like agree to a ceasefire.
Yeah.
Um,
Be good, be peaceful, or you're getting genocided by the democracy junta.
yeah. And then we cut to them immediately doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
And they just do
immediate-
it. Like it goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, no, they blow up like two like swarms of Kalon ships until they go like, all right, we could take you to our leader.
And they have, like, a
fucking guess.
2-minute shot of the Kaelon city, which is probably more impactful if this has been like a mysterious entity before. And they
Which
meet...
we don't know if it has been.
Yeah, unclear. But that's on us to be clear. Sometimes we say unclear and we mean it insultingly.
A lot of the things that are strange here are our fault.
And they meet Kaelon Prime, who has red eyes. Notably, Isaac, our boy, has blue eyes.
And the other Kalons have orange eyes.
Yeah, I think we only see the like 2 bodyguards around Kaelon Prime, so who
There's
knows?
like a few more, but
maybe.
I think they're probably orange. We need one of them to be distinguishable.
But yeah, they have a little short discussion and they go like, what if... So you're gonna genocide us if we don't become peaceful? And go, yes. And then they're like, what if this is a trick? And they're like, it doesn't fucking matter if it's a trick. We have the genocide bomb, buddy.
Yeah, no, and Kalon Prime gets the hang of this extremely simple conundrum and goes like, I fucking guess, my dude.
But also on the way out is like, I'm gonna find a weakness.
Yeah, no, he's like, I'm gonna get to... Which, like, you know, the diplomacy protocols probably shouldn't let leak.
Yeah, I love the idea of like writing a contract and then like sliding it over the desk and then going, I'm gonna find a loophole.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a log cabin for some reason.
Yeah, I know. And here we have like the too early denouement where they're like, yeah, no, I guess everything's fine now. I sure hope the plot doesn't hit us when we're hungover in the morning. And then they have like a little concert with 2 of the characters that I don't remember. Oh yeah, one of them is Charlie.
Yeah, one of them Charlie. Isn't the other one Seth MacFarlane? No, the other one is the like guy we think is either an engineer or a pilot.
Yeah, he has like engineer face, but I think he might be a pilot.
He is also pro-genocide, to be clear, along with Charlie.
Right, is he?
Yeah. He was the guy in the like fucking cafeteria scene. He's like, probably should get them all, to be honest.
Oh yeah, don't remember that.
That's
but
fair.
I believe you. And
then we cut to the plot where someone goes, I'd like to come pick up the device, and they go, we didn't get orders for that. And then he's like, my gun says you did. And then they get blasted, and the device is stolen by Ted Danson.
And like a few saboteurs? Not quite.
Yeah, spies, whatever, infiltrators.
Yeah,
He
like
takes
a breakaway faction that's like, no, we should kill them all.
We should kill 'em all.
Instead of going like, we can orchestrate a genocide ourselves, they're like, there's another faction that will not hesitate to use this weapon, because one of our galactic union of planets has broken away and has gone over to
the Krill.
yeah, who are led by a girl boss.
Yes.
Who has evidently some history, as we later find out.
Oh my god, yeah, it's an information-rich episode. It must be said. But yeah, Ted Danson offers up the device and it's like, I know you guys love genocide, so I trust you.
I'm gonna leave you to it, and I'm gonna go back and turn myself in. And they're like, sick, Bzz, zap them. We can keep this low key for a bit longer. But not so much longer, because the Orville is like, I wonder what's up here, because this admiral is missing.
Yeah.
They find out pretty much immediately what's up.
Just immediately construct the full scenario for small pieces and go, oh, we should probably stop that.
Yeah, and they're like, one of them goes like, I reckon they're probably building the weapon here, and they are. And then they're like, hey, Kalons, so we lost the weapon that we were threatening you with. Which gives them a lot of conversational leverage.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, so we're gonna need like both of our entire fleets to assault this planet.
I just want to flag here for a moment that I kind of like the way they figure out where they are taking the genocide device, because they're essentially going like, there is a secret code to or there's a secret way to activate the nuke. Who would know that? Well, there's this Oppenheimer guy I've been hanging out with. We should probably go talk to him.
Yeah, Mr. Oppenstein. No, that's not quite right.
But yeah, so
Einheimer. No.
But yeah, they get an alliance with the Kalons. There's just a very long fight scene.
Yeah.
They infiltrate the compound.
Yeah, so this is like straight from Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, no, we're doing a space battle, but there's also the crucial ground operation.
They're doing some major X-wing shit in design as well, it must be said. But they infiltrate the compound. They come onto the like, here's where the fucking like detonation cockpit of the device. And they have a little standoff where they're like, we can't disable the device. And then I guess that I'm trying to think if there are more plot points here, but I think it just kind of jumps
and
to.
They're like, oh shit, we can't disable the device and take it with us. I guess we have to destroy it. And our favorite young Republican is like, I'm gonna stay behind and destroy the device, even though I want to genocide these people.
Yeah.
And
I guess this entire scene is just Kelly and Prime, our red-eyed robot, being like, first off, why did you disarm that Moclan instead of killing him? And Isaac, our good boy, Kalon, goes, didn't feel like it, to be honest.
yeah, no, like Kalon Prime, who is also on the secret mission, does like just murk a fuck ton of people.
It's a very funnily paced scene because it's just like blast, 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 blast. Okay, moving on.
And yeah, she stays behind, dying to disable device, blowing up like half the planet. Well, no, doing like a major like quantum nuke on the like presumably like a city of like defense contractors, which like if anyone has it coming. And and dying to become Kalon Jesus in the process.
Yeah.
And the Kalons are like, well, that wasn't very rational of you. I think we could hang though. I think you've convinced us that you're like insane in a way that makes us want to hang. That makes us not want to go to war now that you've lost your super weapon.
I think also specifically they're being like there's that scene between Kalon Prime and Isaac that's basically like, oh, they're not like our creators, they're nice biologicals, and they go, alright, yeah, I can work with that.
Yeah.
And then we just have like a long denouement, really. We get a funeral for Charlie. We get...
I think it's like Carly. I think I just said that wrong and accepted you. You said it right in the beginning.
Did I?
I think so. Carly Burke.
God, now I don't know.
We don't know.
I was going to call her Burke, to be honest, rather than Charlie or
But everyone goes by first names.
I suppose that's true. Anyway, we had the funeral. We have the like, well... We're gonna let y'all come on into the Union now, after your genocidal war has been stopped by the threat of genocide that has now abated. Cool. Yeah. Finger guns, everyone's happy. And we also have the, to us at least, revelation that the girl boss president of the Krill evil Green Empire is like a former lover, of the captain?
Yeah, who's...
Captain Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name at all.
I don't know if it comes up.
I don't know either.
And he's like, please.
Child.
Give me our child. And he's like, no. And we're like, wonder what that's about. Which, like, is the most on us that any sequence ever has been.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, conceptually, there's a chance we didn't know about this previously. Even if we had watched it. But we have to assume this is known to an extent.
Yeah, and that's the episode.
Yeah. It felt very long. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, no, it is like almost 80 minutes.
Yeah, by the time the fucking like Star Wars sequence happens on the planet, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when this was about like talking to the Kalons way back when at the start.
Yeah.
It's a long episode.
Yeah, no, and they like pack a lot of plot points in there.
Yeah, that's the other part, right? It's a lot of jumps.
I will say, like, there is like a lot of time spent on the space battle or like the
Oh yeah.
X-wing battle that like we have no investment in. Like the only investment that like the viewer of the series will have in that is whether like familiar character lives or dies.
Yeah, I think about this because I was recently watching like a video about like battle scenes in general, and I think there's an interesting thing here where like you can make a scene that's just a battle, right? Like movies like Braveheart or whatever, or
Hmm.
like Kingdom of Heaven, they can do that. I feel like it's harder in sci-fi because I think you have to do the like Star Wars slash Lord of the Rings treatment where you go, there's a big battle and also separately like an infiltration going on,
Hmm.
right? Like the Death Star raid or whatever. Or like Frodo and Sam in Mordor while the
Yeah.
whatever battle is going on. And here, the problem with this sequence, I think, is that they're doing it one and then the other. So for a good while, it is just a bunch of ships blasting each
Yeah.
other, and it's not that engaging.
No. Like yeah, no, I mean, Star Trek does like have more money for special effects, but like they still don't do this actually, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's great bang for your buck, you know?
Yeah, no, it's
And
like
obviously,
we our puny minds cannot understand the like swings of a space battle.
yeah.
Right? We don't and like I don't know if you can like convey like these sort of strategic like things that are going on theoretically like on screen.
That's why I
And
think
they don't. So it's just like spectacle.
That's why I think like fantasy and like historical battle scenes just kind of make sense because when you see like the knights crashing into the line, you go,
Mm.
it's probably bad for the guys who got crushed by armor.
Yeah.
But when you see like, oh, that's another ship that blew up, I didn't quite catch which side it was on, and there's a lot of ships blowing up.
Yeah.
Like and you can't be like, ah, they took the hill or whatever. That's probably good for the English. Like,
Yeah, no, like the like physical empathy that you like naturally have for like another like humanoid getting like fucking run down by a horse like really does a lot to make that sort of footage more engaging.
that's a genuinely good term, by the way. Physical empathy.
Yeah, and like there's probably like a technical term that's more accurate. Um
But this is why I kind of think like you can do space battles in some ways. You can do it
yeah.
in the sense that like Star Wars does it, right? Where it's like there's an infiltration scene going on to just like switch back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And I think you can also do it in like more personal, like oh they're weaving through
Mm.
the asteroid belt and stuff like that. But I think these big like I don't know. There needs to be something more to it than just like because I started thinking about this the moment like the lasers were just like exchanged. It's like yeah, it's a lot of colored blobs on screen and then occasionally an explosion.
Yeah. No, like I reckon like this is even a problem with like sort of movies set in like present times because like I don't know what it's like to be shot. Like I can like infer a bit from like someone acting, but
Yeah,
like, like being like I've experienced being cut before because, I'm in a kitchen.
yeah.
Um but like, it just like departs like so many steps from like what I can like remotely sympathize with.
Yeah. And also, like, I want to say, because we talked a little bit about this as far as, like, the Orville's budget is clearly less than what we're
Mm,
used to with, like, Strange New
yeah.
Worlds and even Discovery. Um,
I think Discovery might have had more than Strange New Worlds.
maybe. I don't know. I think I'm less impressed by Discovery, so in my head, I'm, like, downgrading the budget. Um, Well, like I think the interesting thing is like I don't think the Orville does its CGI poorly.
Mm,
Like it definitely looks worse. Don't get me wrong, but like I guess I immediately read it as like they just had less money. Like I don't think they're fucking up how they're presenting stuff.
no.
I think they could have there's a lot of shots of planet cities, and I think they could probably reallocate the budget a little bit.
Maybe they're reusing those.
Maybe that's entirely possible. I just felt like I noticed that they look pretty good.
Yeah,
It's just like more like the movement side of things, and especially the battles. I feel like suffer a little bit because there's every now and then you just see a shot and like, oh, that looks fake in a way that doesn't like destroy the episode or anything, but like does take you a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, even the costuming and, like, especially what are the evil robots called again?
Kalons.
The Kalons. Like, the Kalons look, like, goofy as shit. They have, like...
Yeah!
They have, like, Doctor Who villain energy.
But I love that about them.
Yeah, no, like, there is, like, a very interesting thing going on here, where, like, the place where this TV show, like, to my assessment, like, lands as, like a piece of genre is like far more like specific than like just sci-fi. Like there's like a lot of like reference in just like vibe and style going on.
You know how Game of Thrones was pitched as like fantasy for people who don't like fantasy? I suspect the Orville is like, it's sci-fi for people who you have to like sci-fi to get through this. Like if you roll up and you're like your grandma sees the like Kalons with their like sheer plastic Boston Dynamics ass robots.
Yeah, your grandma would have opinions on whether the Kalons seem like nice boys or not. Like, your dad would think Isaac seems like a nice young fella.
Yeah, but like, I do love the design conceptually.
Yeah,
it's so simple, and it's like you can see because you as you flagged, this started more as a comedy show, and here it feels like this to me, this entire show feels like camp that doesn't quite know that it's camp, even though it very clearly started as self-aware camp. And that's fascinating to me because then you end up with like Kalon Prime. I am almost keeping it in my head.
Yeah,
Kalon Prime, who's this like sheer-faced plastic robot with red eyes, and just you get these long shots of him pondering, and I'm just like, oh, that's so good. That's so adorable somehow.
Yeah,
and like, to be clear, like they are just eyes. For those of you guys who have not watched it.
Yeah, there's no movement going on. There are no expressions, but it is filmed as though, and we are invited to imagine the like goings on in this alien robot mind, and it's good.
Also, shout out to the fact that like their weapons are like mounted under their eyes essentially, so they just like fold out like a butterfly in like a mechanism that looks like a prop.
It's very insectile.
Yeah, it feels like a prop designer had like 8 hours to do it before shooting, and it's beautiful.
Well, that has to be CGI.
Probably.
Like, I do wonder, like, how they do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, there is, like, just a lot of interesting genre stuff with the show going on, but we should probably get to, like, the actual meat of the episode.
Right.
Which, like...
The moral conundrum, should we genocide these guys or not?
Right, and it's... here's the thing. Like, there isn't that much moral conundrum going on here, right?
No.
It's like, like, they ponder, like, their alternatives, and they choose, like, the, like, morally optimistic, like, correct choice, right? This is, like, a straight Paragon run.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, especially, because this is another sci-fi 101, right?
Yeah.
Like, it, and more broadly, like, this is a fantasy 101, right? Like, is it okay, would it be okay to genocide the Urukai?
Yeah.
Like, that's a genuine question here, right? Like, should we kill the goblin child? Like, it pops up everywhere. I think it's kind of interesting, because they are, like, giving a pretty clear answer that, like, these guys are... One, they can change, and have changed, even though, like, as is argued in this episode...
Which they keep stressing in, like... weighing their options.
Option 2, the Kalons were clearly incited to be like this, right? Like they are, and I'm sorry for using this term in media analysis, they have trauma, right? Like as expressly here, like it's that like, oh, like whatever happened with their creators made them distrustful of organics permanently. But that is like That's learning, right?
Yeah.
That's not innate nature, as opposed to something like
Yeah.
when we're talking about like, oh, are orcs always evil?
Yeah, no, like it's like there's an interesting thing going on here, right? Where it's not hard sci-fi in this like because like hard sci-fi would like and I'm not talking in the sense of like realism versus not, but like genre, right?
Hmm.
Hard sci-fi would be like, well, the machine mind is alien
Yeah.
and its computations are such. Like this still treats them like more or less as like the machine mind, right? It's just like, well, the machine mind like isn't that fucking like clean cut either, and like it more or less sticks to the like and like it concludes in like a coherent manner where the machine mind goes like, well, these guys clearly aren't like fucking like homo economicuses.
Yeah.
I don't think like hard competition um is necessary because that's not their internal model, evidently.
Another thing that I want to flag here for a little bit as like a small divergence is that like sci-fi always has like a very complicated relationships to how hive minds work,
Mm.
right? Like there's always like a bit of complexity there. But what I think is interesting about this one is like they talk about Kalon Prime, and he just seems to be like a dictator. Like
Extremely unclear.
we don't get other characters, but it seems genuinely stressed that like this is the guy. Like this is a leader in that
I
sense.
reckon this would make more sense if we had the lore, which there's clearly like seen it beforehand.
No, that's fair, but it's just like the idea of there being a Kalon Prime wouldn't make sense if it was a hive mind. At least not if he looked like everyone else, which he does.
Well, they are networked somehow.
They are, but like compare this to like if you're doing like the Zerg or something, there's an overmind. There's a physical thing that is doing all the calculating. But here, he just looks like everyone else, and I can't imagine the hardware is that different.
Yeah.
But he is still like physically distinct. There's no point where he's like, I'm gonna jump into a different one, or like it doesn't matter because we're all networked.
Well, there is like a little bit of like exposition where they're like, "Ah, you look better," and he's like, "Yeah, I can regenerate infinitely, motherfucker." Right? They clearly like have defeated this guy almost before, and he's like, "I'm back, baby," and
Yeah.
I'm as like freshly peeled as ever.
But I do think there's like a little interesting
Yeah.
thing there in the sense of how they depict the quote unquote hive mind.
Mm.
But yeah, like it is a pretty it's not a complicated moral conundrum, right?
Yeah.
There's safety or there is respect for autonomy, right? Like
Yeah.
and they solve it.
Yeah, and they're like, "Listen, we're going to like gamble like the safety of our civilization on being able to negotiate with the leverage we have." And then they're like, "All right, we're going to gamble our entire fleet on like an assault to make up for losing the nuke."
It's very Pike. It's very Captain Pike.
Yeah, no, I think the decision that's like sort of unfortunately very brushed away is the more interesting one, because going like yeah, no, we will send our entire fleet to this engagement, like that's crazy, right? That is like that's the like like sort of like heroic gesture of faith.
Yeah.
The first one is like you just need to like not be like basically evil. The second one is like heroic good faith almost.
There's an interesting game theory going on. I think there's also like a couple of dropped opportunities, right? Because there's the moment where in the briefing for their like infiltration mission on the planet, they're like, if we fuck this up, we might have to destroy the device instead of taking it back. While Kalon Prime is in the room going, would hate to have that happen, but like, you know,
Yeah.
but he doesn't do anything with that. Like he muscles his way onto the like infiltration team, but there's never a point where he's like, ah ha ha, I'm gonna make sure this fails, so it has to be destroyed, and
Yeah.
like my people will be free, because that's what's hanging in the balance for him, right? So like he's got a very like direct sword of Damocles hanging over his entire existence.
And unfortunately, because we don't know like what his actual situation within Kalonism is, like we don't know if he's like a hostage or not. But I
Yeah.
don't think it's like meant to be that.
No, I don't think so either.
So yeah, no, it is like the weird thing here for like a story like this humanist, I think it's sort of general orientation,
Yeah.
is that like the Kalons are given like fuck all agency.
Yeah, there's that, like, that they don't make it. I think the other part too is that Burke doesn't end up, like, growing. In a sense, or rather, like, the story does appear to be so convinced of, like, yeah, I mean, this is the way things are gonna go, that, like, this person who is like, I do think they should all be killed. The moment she gets put in like a, all right, put your money where your mouth is, she's like, nah, obviously not. I'm killing myself for like making sure.
Well, she's just following orders, right? That's the fascinating part.
But like,
We don't. Well, that's the weird thing. Like, we don't see her flinch, right?
no,
The moral consideration of like, is she going to like, follow the orders that like other people have set forward, or like follow her own instinct and like, let the genocide happen? Like, that's just not. Like, that is never like. That's not. I don't even think it's in the acting.
no, I don't think so. She has very like. For, I will say her acting is not my favorite because she has kind of permanent determinator face
Yeah.
going on, unfortunately. But like that's the thing is that she gets no point where like Kalon Prime saves her from like one of the krill or something, and she goes, "Ah, maybe they're not all bad. Maybe I should like sacrifice myself to make sure that they live or whatever."
Yeah.
Like, there's no point where she gets an impetus to be more humanist.
Yeah.
She is robot racist, and no one convinces her otherwise. And then she's like, "I'm gonna throw myself on the bullet. I'm gonna throw myself on the grenade aimed at robot MLK." You
Yeah.
know, like. I guess I'm a bit confused on why she's racist in the first place then, like in a story sense.
Well, I think it's particularly like strange to have that one because like Ted Danson, traitorous admiral,
Yeah.
like does demonstrate that people can go like, listen, I believe in the principle here, but we gotta kill these people.
Yeah. I will say, I think Ted Danson is like the closest. If I was going to steel man this, I recently, like a couple of months ago, I read this interesting psychological study that showed that when people who you agree with make an argument badly in favor of the thing you agree with, your support for it declines. And I'm like, that makes so much fucking sense. And I think that's kind of the thing where you're like, you have a cause, someone else goes a bit too far on it, and you go like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do recycling anymore.
Man, it would be very funny if they went for that as the like reason she ends up.
It's not. I mean, like, I think that does happen occasionally
Yeah.
in storytelling. It's why we have shit like Killmonger or whatever, right? It's why we get the guy who says correct things but also kicks puppies.
Yeah.
This
No, for
guy
sure.
is not that, to be clear, but like in terms of representing the same viewpoint but more extremely and using worse methods, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, like we spend a lot more time on space battle than we spend on like working out like what her like thinking on this one is,
Yeah.
which is like a big void at the heart of this episode.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I feel like there are genuinely like interesting setups, both in terms of like yes, it's a bit sci-fi 101, but I don't think it's like this episode does not have the issue that some sci-fi 101 has, where they think they're the first sci-fi to ever tackle a given question. Like, it just thinks like, they're playing into it, and that's stuff you can need a bit. You can work with it. They just kind of don't. Which is a shame.
Yeah. Now there's like the good guys do the correct thing and it works out for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I think in a weird way, like, this is stretching a bit, but, like, it makes me think of Quality of Mercy from Strange New Worlds and kind of appreciate it more to be like, no, like, sometimes you do the right thing and it goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you, I don't know, help someone up and they stab you in the face or whatever, right? Like,
By the way, they do just straight up drop like the Equality of Mercy quote that presumably Equality of Mercy was referencing.
which one was that?
The quality of mercy is mightiest in the mightiest.
Right, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, no, they do just like also bring that one.
Alright, should we take some snipes at other parts of the writing? Like, do we want to talk about the a Churchill quote?
I've been thinking about it too much to not do that yet.
Yeah, okay. So there's the first one of these. It's not a Napoleon quote. There's like one reference to like Earth before that.
Let's see. We have Napoleon, we have Molotov, Ribbentrop, and we have
The
Churchill.
Churchill quote. Yeah.
Those are the three like standouts.
Yeah, there's a lot of like. Also, while we're on this topic, I do like the thing where the only proverbs that happen come from Earth, right? Because we get like one of the crew going like, "I've heard a human helpsman say you've got balls," in the intro. But yeah, they have a reference to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. But most importantly, when the Kaelons are like, "Democracy is stupid," one of the admirals goes, "Check this out. Got a British politician for you. You'll never have heard of this one before." And they drop the democracy is
the worst form of government except for all the others. And then he's like, and we are in space and we've checked out all of the others. So it's really true now.
I want to flag here for a moment. It gets misquoted a lot because people leave out the except for all the others that have been tried. Like, I'm not here to support Churchill quotes. Clearly, that is something we do too much as a society.
Yeah.
But at least quote it correctly, you know? And also drop, like, the 80% of Churchill quotes that are not Churchill quotes. Just sorry.
We could make up some fake Churchill quotes.
Tear down this wall, Mr. Stalin.
Wow. Strong.
I had to think of something quickly.
It's good. No, so like, surely you would at least call it like space democracy or something.
Yeah.
You know, you could call it like interplanetary democracy.
I don't know. I think there's actually something interesting about being that straightforward about it. Like, because I do think I think, on occasion, sci-fi and fantasy. So I've recently read a book that I won't reference any furthermore, but there's the issue that shows up in a lot of these types of media where they're like, we need a new name for everything. You know, we can't say, I'll give you coin. It's just like, I'll give you the emperor's sovereigns, and so on and so forth, right? And I actually kind of respect when they go like, no, this is democracy, dude. Like,
yeah,
shut up. That's what it's called.
Yeah, we also have Greece in our past.
You have to imagine it's, you know, it's translations and such.
Yeah, though I will say, and I think this is correct from like a quick lookup, that the Churchill quote does not specify representative democracy, which this show does.
That's a good point, yeah.
So I guess fuck the Swiss.
Fuck the Swiss.
Quote the Orville if you need a source for that.
There's actually when we get to season 1, we're gonna have the Swiss War, where they subdue the direct democracies of the cantons.
Yeah, or you know, like sort of a Soviet-style democracy.
Yeah.
I guess that is just like representative democracy, except you know, you eventually put everyone in gulags.
I do like really, because you said this is a little bit like earlier Star Trek to some extent, that like this show does hew a lot closer to being like, yeah, Earth's a thing, like we fucking remember shit. Like there's so I recently started reading Children of Dune, and I am reminded of the part in Dune Messiah where they very explicitly talk about Hitler, right? And I'm like, man, that's not a lot of sci-fi that does that, especially not nowadays, I want to say.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, it does really make you wonder about, like, the historical staying power of Hitler. Yeah. Because, like, Star Trek specifically avoids the Hitler problem by inventing its own Hitler. And then having his granddaughter, La'an, be, like, really cool.
I feel like we could do an entire episode talking about that. Like, I'm reminded of how in Vampire the Masquerade, the lore is like vampires are behind everything except World War II. They didn't do World War II. Carthage, yes. Rome, yes. Like every imperial dynasty in China. Not not Nazi Germany, though.
I mean, that is the politically correct one to do, right?
And it makes sense. Like, they do actually explain it, like, why would they want to kill off their own?
Yeah.
You know, like, they want to rule, not kill.
Yeah.
But it is very funny in that context where they're like, anything you can think of.
Vampire
vampires did.
Genghis Khan.
Oh, I don't know about that one, but maybe. I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe that's like a werewolf.
But yeah, no, like it's but here we just have it like straight down the line. Like
Yeah.
yeah, no. That's like the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Which is like why are you Poland? You're like a big federation. Like the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact is what you invoke if you see yourself specifically as Poland.
Yeah, no, the Soviet, like, this is your...
But, like, in actual fact, the alliance that they have made is a defensive alliance against the Space Borg.
Oh, it's the non-aligned states.
Yeah, no, it is... So it's really a really bad metaphor, which maybe is just, like, being characterized as an idiot, which I'm not excluding entirely as a possibility.
I guess the implication... Because if you're invoking the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, it's, like, storytelling-wise, you would imply that these two are going to break up, or that they're, like, polar opposites. And it's unclear to me if they are the latter, and they are not doing the former.
I think it's that they're polar opposites.
Because we get
Maybe
one
it's
of them...
like the girl country and the boy country.
But that's what I thought from the original.
I think it might
Because
genuinely be
we do
that.
know one of the Mocklans are patriarchal. They're like, we can't have a female leading. Because they show up and
they
they're
have
like...
like a very complicated gender thing that we have not gotten to, and I like half remember like a quarter of.
Interesting. Okay. Because we get in the opening scene, there is that part where they're like, well, we should lead because we're boys. And
Yeah.
the like female president's like, yeah, but women are smart.
That's right. So like, are women Soviet and men fascist, or the other way around in this metaphor?
Are women bourgeois?
Well, that's clearly not on the table.
Unfortunately.
I guess fascism is very bourgeois.
Yeah, petty bourgeois. Are women petty bourgeois? I guess that's kind of the implication of the original quote, to be fair.
But yeah, no, it's God, there's a lot going on.
So far, the reason I think I enjoy the Orville is partially because of what I said, that it's like camp that doesn't know it's camp. It also just has some proud idiot energy.
Yeah.
And I'm really in favor of that. Like it's a soap in some ways, right? Like the fucking reveal where it's like,
Yeah.
and it's still unclear to us if this is supposed to be a reveal. But when they're like,
No,
what about our
no,
daughter?
I don't think so. This is just like a meta plot being like dragged along in like the last scene. Clearly, right?
It's good though. Like
it's probably a setup for the next episode or something.
I want to flag too, like the dialogue is so fascinating to me sometimes. Like there's the part where he goes, "You're contemptible," and I'm like, well, "This is not a human being, my man. What are you saying?" But also, like, I started thinking about this very early in the episode. Like when they're doing their little debate in the cafeteria on whether genocide is cool or not, like there's no like arguing. They are like presenting. Like, it's like a formal debate style of presenting your entire, like, logical conclusion and then handing it over to the next person. Like, it's so stiff.
Honestly, it didn't hit me that hard because I did need all that exposition. So
I guess it's really serving the purpose for us, but yeah, just like the way it's like, I agree. Here is the clauses of my argument. And now to you.
I mean, yeah, no, like they do just like pack a lot of like plot points in an episode. Now, I will like do one more Discovery comparison, and this one is a bit of an odd one, right? Because what this one is just straight up trying to do like a movie plot.
Yeah, I was thinking
Right,
about that too.
like straight up, it is doing like a little bit of Star Wars with like extra moving pieces, if anything. But they have an actual cast of characters. They give like too many people something to do, and not enough people characterization.
Yeah.
That it is just like that it does suffer, ironically, from having like too many important characters. Instead of like just like a protagonist who like would have been which would have been entirely serviceable for this one.
In a weird way, I feel like the captain was like the least important one here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is surprising given that it's Seth MacFarlane. Like, he made a show to be the captain.
Yeah.
And then respectable in a weird way.
Yeah.
No, I am genuinely excited. This is such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's like, if they're gonna do more of these long action scenes, I will be a little bit like, oh, okay, come on. But otherwise, I am all in for this.
Well, I think there is like a little bit of season end indulgence happening
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
But
That's why I'm glad we're not doing the finale.
Yeah.
Because if this is the penultimate
The finale
one...
actually sounded quite mellow.
Oh, really? Well, now I'm curious.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for listening. I think this is all we have.
Yeah, it's a good crash dive into the Orville, and we shall see you on the other side.
Sure.